Hello everyone, welcome to Durrett's Tech. Let's get started. Unfortunately, I did not have a good weekend as far as the NFL goes on picks and all that. But before I get to the NFL, let's talk about the NBA real quick. So Game 3 of the NBA Finals is in the books, and even though Bam Adebayo and Goran Dragic were out, somehow Miami wins. There's many reasons why, though. I mean, some people will look at the Lakers shot horrible from three-pointers. That's true. Um, but Miami wasn't that much better. Lakers were at 33%, Miami was at 35%, so not that much better. AD only had like 15 points, as another reason why, and that is a big deal because AD should be scoring at least 20 plus every game, especially with Miami's lack of size. Um, so I would say he should get more touches to the rim, but I don't think that's the whole story. The Lakers' 20 turnovers definitely is a huge concern, but I wouldn't even put that. That's the big reason why. Let me tell you the real reason why the Lakers lost. It's because Miami star Jimmy Butler finally played like the best player on a championship team by scoring 40 points. Because throughout the whole playoffs for him, it's been like, oh, I'll score 20 because everyone else will score 15 or whatever, and we'll win just fine. But against the Lakers, that philosophy can't work. He has to just go out and dominate and score like 40 plus. And now he finally did so, and look what happened. Miami wins. Think about the finals where LeBron was not the favorite in. If he didn't score 40, near 40 in any of those games, then they would lose automatically. So it's important that Butler continues to do this. Now, I don't think Butler can do this for 3 games in a row or 3 of the next 4 games because that would be very hard to do. If he does it, that's cool, good for him, but I'm not sure if he'll be able to. So therefore, that's why I'm going to still take my Lakers in 5 pick. But obviously, if Game 4 Miami wins and he's able to do 40 plus again, I'll have to change my thought there. So it's a big blow for the Lakers though, because they had our opportunity to go up 3-0, which no team's ever come back from, and give Miami the knockout punch, and they couldn't. So let's see if Miami can take advantage of that and win Game 4 as well. By the way, so this happened Friday night, so I wanted to talk about it because I thought it was very interesting. So the NBA Finals, I feel like it normally gets a lot of views because it happens like in July. Not, besides regular season baseball, not a lot of sports are going on, so it's something that I definitely watch. Right now, you have football going on, you have Major League Baseball playoffs going on, along with these NBA Finals. So it's interesting to see what the viewership is, and this is with LeBron in the finals, by the way. If LeBron wasn't even in the finals, I feel like it wouldn't be getting as much views as it is right now. But on Friday night, I didn't look at the baseball numbers because I don't care about baseball, but there was 2 games going on at the same exact time. You had Game 2 of the NBA Finals, in which the Lakers won, and then you had a college football game, Louisiana Tech versus BYU. Now 15 ranked BYU. The football game had more views, surprisingly, by 200,000 because it was 1.9 mil to 1.7 mil. So by 200,000 more, that game had more views. Now, for those of you who didn't watch the game, you're probably thinking, oh, well, it must have been a close game. Nope. BYU blew them out. They blew them out by 31 points, to be specific. So the fact that more people watched that game in the NBA Finals should be alarming for Adam Silver in the NBA. Now, like I said, in a normal season, it's in the middle of summer, so therefore you're typically going to get more viewers. Plus, it doesn't help that the Lakers are the clear favorite in the finals. Now, if Miami can like win Game 4 and make this kind of even type of thing, then that generates more interest. But if Lakers win Game 4, and then it goes back to Lakers are a heavy favorite, and Game 5 won't matter and stuff. So kind of like how the Cleveland 73-win Warriors team versus Cleveland. That was kind of an even match. Even though the Warriors were favorite, once Lakers won that Game 5, made it interesting. That was kind of an even matchup from there, and I feel like you got more viewership there type of thing. But Adam Silver needs to kind of figure out how to get more viewers because the NBA struggles in regular season to get views, and now it looks like they're struggling to get views in the playoffs, and even in their finals game. So during this off season coming up, if I'm Adam Silver, I'd think of a way to try to generate more viewers if I were him. So now, before I go over my one-phrase summary for each game, let's talk about the Titans and the outbreak going on there with coronavirus. So people are freaking out that this could jeopardize the season. My thoughts are the exact opposite as of right now. We live in a world where we get a little bit of bad news and everyone freaks out. The best example of this is compare this to the Miami Marlins in baseball. When they had their big outbreak to begin the season, everyone thought, oh, the baseball season will not be finished. They should just shut it down. And some teams like St. Louis Cardinals and Phillies have some cases, and people continue to call for it to shut down. But notice how baseball didn't overreact. The situation played itself out. Less and less cases were coming about, and now they're in the playoffs right now. So if you want to compare, sport by sport to make it more legit, then just look at college football. They have it even harder than NFL teams do because they can't try to make their bubble is not going to be as good as the NFL is, and they're not tested as much as the NFL is. And yes, college football teams, some teams get coronavirus cases, but just postpone the game, and then play the number of games you're able to play, and everything's just fine. So if the Titans have to miss another game or two, you have to think that's the end of the world. It's not. There's this thing called a winning percentage. And the reason that the winning percentage is there is for reasons like this, in case if the teams don't play the same amount of games, and you have to go off of winning percentage. And I'm fine with going off winning percentage if you can't have an even amount of games. I'm fine with that. Don't get me wrong, it's sad that the Titans players now Cam Newton have COVID, because we don't want any of the NFL players or personnel to get COVID. But teams are doing good, and surprisingly, it's been nice that it took this long to finally get something, but and now they have a hurdle to overcome. But the bottom line is we cannot overreact to everything, and that we need to take it one step at a time. Notice the other teams are not having as much issues right now. If 4 NFL teams are going through what the Titans are currently going through, then there could be a little more cause for panic. But right now, let's not panic. Just enjoy the fact that we have football. Looks like that it will take a disaster for it to cancel the season. But now let's move on to my one-phrase summary for each game. For the Patriots and Chiefs and Falcons and Green Bay, I'll talk about that game in my other podcast later on this week. So let's start with the Thursday football game, Denver versus Jets. My one phrase is Gase closed. Adam Gase needs to go. Surprised he's not already fired by now. You can't lose to a depleted Broncos team who a third-string quarterback for his first game, and he threw 2 interceptions before, and you can't win that game. That's ridiculous. What are the Jets waiting for? Fire him now. Cleveland versus Dallas. Go all in. If I'm the Cowboys, you have one thing left you can do to save your season despite being a weak division. You have to make a trade. And if I'm the general manager, mostly everyone on the team is on the table. There's 2 or 3 players maybe off, but mostly everyone's on the table, including the guys that have gotten paid. Go get an offensive tackle, or a pass rusher, or a cornerback / safety, someone in the secondary. And you can't just make one trade for one player. You need to make multiple trades. Because this defense is horrible. And since it's the coaching staff's first year, while they serve a lot of the blame, and the defense coordinator should be fired already, they will get more of a pass because it's their first year. So players like Jalen Smith, DeMarcus Lawrence, Mark Cooper, who are getting paid and not producing like they should be gone, and they should be traded. The Cowboys want to make the playoffs, because that's their ceiling at this point, because they're not going to win if they even get there. They need to go make a trade. Also, with the coaching staff, please teach Ezekiel Elliott and Dak how to not fumble the freaking ball. They've had over 10 fumbles to start the season already in 4 games. And you ain't going to win by turning it over so much. In fact, if Dallas had 0 turnovers step 2, I bet you anything Dallas wins that game yesterday. So they need to fix that. New Orleans versus Detroit. Confidence builder. The New Orleans Saints offense finally looked competent. They ran the ball effectively. Breeze passed the ball good enough. Got Emmanuel Sanders involved, and he had a nice day. Traquan Smith is emerging as a good wide receiver. They're developing that connection with Breeze. Now the defense has issues still. But with a lot of players out this game, they got a little bit more of a pass than normal. So now it's on the Now it's onto the Chargers, which will be tougher to beat than the Lions, in my opinion. So let's see how they do there. Jacksonville versus Cincinnati. Rookie gets the W. Running back Joe Mixon was the start of the game, but Burrow did good and got his first W as starter. So this offense will be exciting to watch for the rest of the season. This is going to kind of be like the Arizona Cardinals last year. Win 4 or 5 games, but they're going to be fun to watch. Seattle versus Miami. Winning in a different way. Seattle has been more of a high-scoring games this whole season so far. Everyone knows, obviously. But now this game was more of a back to lower-scoring, kind of grind-it-out type of game. And Wilson was still able to win. He makes plays in the fourth to win, and in my opinion, he's still the lead in the MVP race, even though it's a little bit less of a scoring game. LA Chargers versus Tampa Bay. Bucks have luck. Good job for facing adversity, but it took a ton of luck to win this day. Brady throws a pick 6 in the first quarter. Key players either were out or got injured, and yet for example, O.J. Howard, the tight end's going to be out for the season with Achilles. But yep, they still survived. From my opinion, despite the injuries, it looks like it's going to take either a perfect game to beat the Bucks, or the Bucks just kind of messing up themselves like they did in Game 1 in order to beat them this year, which is very dangerous for Tampa Bay. Baltimore versus Washington. Nice bounce back. Baltimore, after being humiliated, had a nice performance against a beatable team. Arizona versus Carolina. The wild cards. Arizona looks like they could be a playoff team instead of more of a rebuilding team. Right now, they lost 2 in a row with bad losses in their own way. Because Detroit's just a bad team. But Carolina, this was a blowout loss, so it was even worse. But Carolina, though, after losing Christian McCaffrey game 2 and falling down 0-2, they're now 500 at 2-2. So both teams are obviously rebuilding. But expect to get a lot of wild things out of these teams throughout the season. You never know which team's going to come on the field Sunday. They can upset some teams, or they can look pathetic. Doesn't matter. But it'll be kind of interesting to see how this plays out. Minnesota versus Houston. The Cook Show. Cousins had his best game of the season so far, but this was the Dalvin Cook game. Just getting what he wanted. And usually when that happens, they usually win the game. And now Houston is in serious trouble. Giants versus Rams. We're good. This was a surprising but good opportunity to get the upset win if you're the Giants. But Daniel Jones said, nah, we're good by throwing that bad interception. By the way, he could have just ran it for a first down. So it shows he still has a lot of growing to do. That's why if Trevor Lawrence or Justin Fields is in the draft, they might get him and beat Daniel Jones. Indianapolis versus Chicago. How about them defense? So besides the opener, the Colts defense has been balling out. We thought their defense would be improved from last year. Again, the Forrest Buckner in a trade, drafting well, but this is why. And now linebacker Leonard limped off the field this year, so that's a little bit concerned. Better than that, it's like they're playing good defense like they should, and as long as Philip Rivers doesn't make mistakes, he's basically in the same situation as he was 2 seasons ago when the LA Chargers made the playoffs. So he's in a good situation. Now, Nick Foles, I don't knock him necessarily this game because, like I said, Colts defense is really good. But if he continues to have bad games over the next few games, then you got a serious problem in Chicago in the quarterback room. Buffalo versus Vegas. Vegas is all hype, but no results. Again, bad and mediocre defense. All the Raiders look amazing. But against good defenses and good defensive coaches in New England, Buffalo, they don't look explosive at all. So this is what Vegas is, and they're headed for another 7-8 season, 8-8 again, and Carl will be have a job in Vegas because he needs to make the playoffs, in my opinion. Buffalo needs to figure out, by the way, Las Vegas needs to figure out, by the way, how to beat great defenses if it wants to get a wild card spot. The last, Philly versus San Francisco. Backup time is over. Let's face it, the 49ers backups can look good against a bad Jets or Giants team, but eventually playing backups will cost you a game like it did here. George Kittle back helps, but not with a backup QB. Mullins threw that pick 6 that cost him the game. And it's funny how the third string ended up playing better than Mullins, but as the schedule only gets tougher, Jimmy G needs to start again. So this Mullins backup game has run its course, and I don't think Shepard's the answer, even though he played better. They need at least one of their 2 running backs back, whether it's Coleman or Mostert. They need to also get Richard Sherman back tomorrow would help as well. If they can get some of these players back soon, then they'll be fine. But if they can't, then the 49ers are in deep trouble. So that's it for today. Thank you very much for listening. And please subscribe to my channel. Please tell everyone about me. Thank you very much. And you all have a wonderful Monday.